Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we are going to be playing Simic Cookies, as it's been called. Ash Sizzle is pretty well known for playing this list, at least in best of 3. And we're going to continue our talks about what decks are going to look like post rotation. And kudos to me, this deck was already built for rotation. I did not really change anything. The only thing that we will be losing is these two Dreamroot Cascades, and that is very easy. Oh, sorry. I always forget that these are rotating. But we'll be losing these 4 lands. Very simple fix. Just play more basics and call it a day if you want to. But today we are going to see what happens when your boy gets absolutely bullied. It did not go incredibly well. There were certain matchups that were fine. There were certain matchups that I struggled or was very close. I played against some matches against some decks I've not seen before, which was interesting. But other than that, our main goal is kind of turn 1 to play the Wormlet. The reason why is because this card's so effective against aggro decks. We can get Death Touch very easily on it, and the life gain becomes pretty relevant whenever you're playing artifacts after. Something like a Tough Cookie gains like 2 life off this, so it's very nice, along with putting counters on it and getting it super close to being activated right away in terms of the Death Touch. So this turn 1 is pretty solid. I'm playing the Siren on turn 2, and then maybe even activating that map in order to target the Siren to grow it at the same time is very cool. And then Ginger Brute is kind of a versatile creature here. This doesn't necessarily win the game on its own, but whenever you can attach like a glyph to it and make its power and toughness a 5/4, and then you make it unblockable, kind of acting as a makeshift surge engine that you've pumped 4 mana into, it's very good. But also this card is incredibly strong whenever you're putting it under a Agatha's Soul Cauldron and having, say, 3 creatures in play. So if we have a Wormlet, a Siren, and stay, because this already kind of has that ability. Let's say we have like one of these. We've managed to get a counter off this because we've played an artifact off a Siren. We cracked a map. We put a counter here, and with Agatha's Soul Cauldron, we activate it, exiling this Ginger Brute, putting a counter on Kite Sail. We can then use 3 mana to give every single one of these creatures unblockable because they will all have a 1/1 counter. And Agatha's Soul Cauldron says, you may spend mana as though mana any color to activate abilities of creatures you control, which is very relevant with this next text line. Creatures you control with a 1/1 counter on them have all activated abilities of all creature cards exiled with Agatha's Soul Cauldron. So with Ginger Brute in, we'd all be able to activate that 1 mana. It can't be blocked this turn, except with creatures with haste. So all these would then become unblockable, and mono red's not holding creature back because blocking's not an option for them. It's slam the space bar, go, 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 go. So most likely the haste creatures that they play won't be back anyway, unless they're already losing, which most of the time they can't stop it regardless. Other than that, kind of talk about some other things is we have Schooner for value whenever our creatures are too small. We want to swing a little bit bigger. Also exploring is pretty good, and this card also does not die to a go for the throat, which is very good, or a cut down. So using a smaller creature like a Siren to crew this up is very nice. Surge Engine kind of being this weird blocker if you need it to be, but what we really want to do is activate its 1 mana. It loses that defender and now it's unblockable, which is really nice. It makes it, if we can kind of get it out there pretty quick and attacking, it's nice. And for what the deck is named around, Tough Cookie. Tough Cookie is another card. It gets a lot of value off of Agatha's Soul Cauldron. As you can see, we have 2 abilities on it. Obviously sacrificing the creature for food is nice. But we can use the 3 mana ability to target a non-creature artifact we control and turn it into a 4/4. Sorry, I just coughed and almost died. We can activate the 3 mana ability and turn cards like Lava Spur Boots into a 4/4. A Schooner that's not been saddled up, Jesus. Crewed up, we can turn it into a 4/4 so it can attack and its ability can still trigger or whatever. And even using like a map token off a Sentinel or map token off a Siren or the where did it go? Oh yeah, the food token off the Tough Cookie. Very nice. Everything is good with it. I'm like dazed now that I coughed and I had to check myself. Other than that, I'm going to go ahead and call it there. Let's go ahead and hop into the game, see how they go. This deck has a lot of ins and outs that hopefully we'll see throughout the games. And if you like my content, please consider subscribing. Outside of that, let's go ahead and game. Kind of the mana we want, right? So I'll keep this. We can play Schooner first. Looks like Golgari. Well, strategy changes sometimes. But the reason that I would play Schooner first is because we can play this, crew up the Schooner, and then have it fight, you know. A lot of options. Huh. Opponents on Abzan. Well, let's play this artifact. This is not an artifact, so it will die. Pretty much anything here. Cut down, go for the throw, get lost. A lot it could be. The only Abzan deck I could think of is the one with all the marches and stuff. So interesting kind of play here. We're not going to lose any tempo here. We're going to put a Surge Engine on the stack. Have it kind of do its thing. And then we'll use it to crew up the schooner so we don't lose value. I'm used to saddle now. You have to click the saddle creature to click a creature. But in this case, you have to hit the crew creature. Yeah, kind of what I figured the problem was going to be. But I'm just going to pay this and then attack. Obviously, Odawara is not up. They could, in theory, play around Spell Pierce or something like that. But, oh, just like that, they're way above the life total that they started at. Unfair. Also, why did I do this? Somebody watching just tweaked, and it's my fault. But it's all good. Attack. I'm gonna take the damage now, so they can't in response respond to me activating this with the cut down. I'd much rather take that away from them on their end step. Sure. Is anything? Target artifact or creature enchantment does not count. Activation. I would like my 5/4, please. They are missing lands, so yeah. Got another march. On goodbye. Okay. Interesting. Could I just hold up the kite sail? What if I do this? If I do this, we just call this a day. Big hits. Big hits, no tests, no whammies. Keep Odawara in case like a temporary lockdown or something comes out of this hand. So I can get my stuff back. What do you got for me, opponent? Reading the glyph. That makes sense. Up to Beanstalk number 2. They could have the Black March, which will gain them life. But we're right there. Sacrifice. Is it smarter to sack the Gingerbrute? And I think the answer is yes. Because this will trigger and hopefully it hit. That's called lethal, baby. Heck yeah. Yeah. Cause I think if we sacrifice the Wormlet, sure we hit them and set them to 1, but then they get a turn. But if that hits, if this hits any creature whatsoever, or even like a schooner, I can then play this and then put the schooner in play after like schooner's in play. I can then crew it up and it's fine, it's lethal. I have way better odds to let this hopefully hit a threat and just use that. And it just so happened to hit a Gingerbrute and triggering this. So very cool. Very cool. So it's weird. I can actually keep this and play it a little bit staggered here. We start off with a Vine Stalk, playing the Wormlet into a Siren, which Siren will make an artifact triggering the Wormlet, which is nice. Of course, we'd love Wormlet to attack on turn 1, but sometimes we don't get what we want. Blue, white. Ew, gross. At least I think. Lava Spurt's pretty good. Here we go. Creature, creature, creature. Then I can Boots and Surge Engine maybe. Oh no, holding up a No More Lies. Not my opponent. Let's put a Surge Engine on his stack, get it countered, most likely. Oh no. Maybe it's a Get Lost. Let's pass here. this hit? Oh. I'm not looking to commit any more to the board, by the way, because if there's a temporary lockdown, I'd rather this stuff not get beat up. I'm going to get rid of that because it seems like less good. Lockdown is an enchantment, so this can't make it an artifact. Oh, wow. Shocker. Who would have thought? Tough cookie. Lava spur boots. Go ahead. Okay. My bad. I guess I'll lose. I don't. Sure, man. Control this right now. Play like 2 temporary lockdowns, and my opponent just has them. I'll play another tough cookie. Man, I hope I don't get sunfalled. Sick. I mean, at this point, I'm just activating this ability, targeting this. I can get rid of my 4/4, or they'll Emperor me. Flanker, sure. Interesting. Uh-huh. Okay. You know that food just goes away next turn, right? Like, I have to have another cookie in order to make it a creature. I just thought I'd let you know. I'll play another creature. Get more value from the cauldron anyway. Sure. I got temporary lockdown so hard. This one. This one. This definitely deserves a counter spell if they're going to use one. Oh, I get the hit. Down to 13. Let's go. Ah, who would have thought it was coming? Not me. Gunner is typically pretty good to answer this. I think playing the tough cookie playing out though is better. Here we go, opponent. What you got for me? Sure. Wow, they kept their hand. That's not good. Yeah, that's not good at all. Their plans to bring this up and block. I just know it. This one. Combat. This one. Another flanker. Oh my goodness. I'm not gonna lie to you. This game's over. I'm just done playing it. To be honest. Running the lockdown, like, sure, man. I guess I'll lose that game. It's just not worth playing it out. They're still at 14. And I'm just running with top deck. I haven't hit a lot of lands. Eventually, I'm going to start flooding here, but yeah, tough, boring game, but it is what it is. Just having fun, chat. I don't know. Running down. Can we beat life gain? I have no idea. Oh boy. My cookies are getting cooked, dude. I think it. I'm playing tough cookie. I don't know. Have cut down? Okay. My hero. I have 2 artifacts. Yep. Hey, is there a creature I can't beat in their deck? Oh, Amelia. Yeah. Maybe they didn't have a land drop and they found one. Very cool. Oh boy. I'm gonna use this. Use this. No. I do have a death toucher in the wormlet though, which is nice. Team, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know how I win this match. I don't know how I'd ever win this match. I feel like kind of hands and stuff we have are very like catered in order to just like, I mean, this is the way to beat it, I guess. Oh boy. This one, I guess. Target a food. Target here. Yes. I will take that action. Interesting life, dude, right now. I can't pay this, right? Yeah, you just want me to sack it? Messed up, dude. I will do this, however. Wormlet. And because I have to get in eventually. Double block? I mean, I guess you can cast both sides. Oh, it didn't matter. I have death touch. But I kind of figured they were going to leave Dennick because they know I'm at Agatha's Soul Cauldron list. And now it's like, are you going to play it as a 3-2? Unsure. And I'll make my Surge Engine like a 5-4 and unblockable. I think it just makes sense. And the cookies are getting in too, in my opinion. I don't want to give them their Amelia back, but I guess. I think the longer the game goes on, the life gain is going to be too much for me to keep up with, so I'm just trying to get the game closed. Also, if they ever get this popped and working, tough time. Is it just permanents? Creature cards. Specifically creatures. Okay. So cut down doesn't become active, but Plaza. What do we got? Sure. Yeah. Yes. That's a card I can't beat well. This can trade. How much can this go into? Draw 3 cards. Hey, no. I am perfectly fine with not activating that ability. Correct. Great powers on this. Yeah, these. They're attacking. Pass. Do I want to draw cards, chat? Would I like to draw 3 cards here? I've hit them for so much and they're at 16. Are we attacking finally? I have a Plaza, so they definitely could. A cookie's going to jump in front of a Shieldred, and then I'm going to sack it. No. Not even forcing the issue. Hey, are you that afraid? Sure. Their fear knows no bounds. I don't understand. Make a map. Here. Most likely they either have cut down or go for the throat, so Surge Engine should be like impossible to remove. I mean, I'm just going to take that as like a permanent I can have in my hand at some point. Go play Sentinel. What? I'm losing to a deck that I've never seen people put these cards all together in one Magic the Gathering pile. Man, they were like, dude, I know rotation's close, but what if I just play all things that are rotating? What if I was a sick gamer like that? Sure. Yeah. What's crazy is the amount of respect they're showing us on the fact that it's like, you had a Rafine come down with a Shieldred in play. The amount of life that you could have gained was pretty wild, along with like a Plaza. I don't know what they were afraid of, but like, what could I have bounced? Sure, I guess. I don't know. I mean, they still have Plaza available. And Shieldred has Death Touch, so I'm not blocking with all four things. I could force them to use the Plaza. Sure. Put Sentinel back on the snack. Lava Spur Boots. I could bring this up on this and then attach this to it. That'll make it big enough. I'm attaching this, I guess. This has hit so many times. Sure. But Earth Eye is probably going to be enough to make me lose here. Yeah, because without my main threat in play, I don't know how I win this match. They're at 21. Yeah, this game's over. Okay. I will keep. What is the next deck I am going to play against? I don't know, you know? On one hand, maybe I'm playing the deck poorly. On the other, maybe I'm just like in nightmare matchups. I have no idea, you know? Sometimes more than one thing can be true. Let's play the Siren. Little less mana efficient here, but I like getting the other threat down, especially with Cauldron not having anything available to activate. Could have put that on the Wormlet, but honestly, prefer to do it this way. Schooner is pretty fine. Turns like this Siren into a good card. I am a little bottlenecked on blue, so there could have been an argument to toss that away, but I don't mind it. Up to Beanstalk. Realistically, we have to worry about Sunfall. If it was a creature on top, I probably would have binned it because Agatha's Soul Cauldron gets to exile that, putting a counter on a thing. But here, now what do we do? Sunfall is the only card I'm kind of scared of or depopulate, so I want to put maximum pressure on while I can, I think. This enter makes an artifact, triggering that. Here's 5. I have 2 turns. Obviously, Leyline Binding can start coming into effect as well. We haven't seen it yet. We've only seen Bant thus far. Herd Migration, gain 3. Leyline Binding, if they use this basic, will also not be on again. I don't think I'm committing any more creatures, per se, to the board. I'd much rather just... like Schooner, I might. Because Schooner's a little bit different. Let's do this. I'm gonna let that go, because then my Cauldron gets value. So I'll play Cauldron here. It's only activated abilities, right? Creatures you control with 1 more counter on have all activated abilities of all cards exiled with it. Okay. It's not activated, but I mean, I'm just gonna go. Please click. This one. This one. Make a map. Set them down to 5. So Sunfall's not online, but Depopulate could be. And they had to Herd Migration for a mountain, and if they had a tap land, they would have played it last turn, I think. Oh. I forgot they're playing Ill-Time Explosion now, but they discard for 7 anyway, so it's not like all game ending here. But Sunfall is available. We'll have to do a trick here to try to make sure we have the lethal number available. Use this here. And your Brute's actually really good. You could argue I can discard it because I could have paid to give this haste, but it wouldn't have been enough for lethal regardless. If I had another land drop, I would have been Ginger Brute, brought up Schooner on this, and then activated, give it haste, and then put a counter on it, setting them to 1. Spelunking. Oh, they need a binding here. Pass your turn. They missed a land drop. Our graveyard. We will exile a creature. Here. My turn. We play Ginger Brute. And we play Kite Sail Freebooter. Turning this into a treasure. In case we need it, you never know. Crew this here. Because Leyline Binding doesn't get it, and Herd Migration's not available. Do the combat. Leyline Binding. What will you target? I will activate this. I will exile this. Putting a counter here. And attack for lethal. Thankfully, we get there. Had a couple rough games in a row, but back. Look, guys, we made it to Diamond 3. We're so good. Oh, man. I'm in the pits. And I might lose this one to inexperience of the deck, to be honest with you. Because, like, in my head, I feel like this hand's fine. But I also feel like mulling and having a Wormlet or another 1-drop is great. But I can't... To me, I look at these hands, I don't know if I could throw them away. Ooh, I don't know if I can win regardless. Kite Sail Freebooter, probably a card of good value. Dry away, mate. Dry away. Look at you. So agile, so athletic. Next 1-drop draw, by the way. I guess I'll play this just because it can block now. And then I'll probably have to play Kite Sail, or I guess Nameless City's pretty good, right? Alright, well, you know, I thought about blocking, but now that I think about it, no. Well, they scry. They attack out. Is it worth trading? It feels like it should be worth trading. Yeah, I'm gonna trade. Play here. Play this. I really could Kite Sail and got rid of this Warden right away. Would that be worth it? Probably. Is Sentinel big enough to hold this off? Hopefully. I know Lava Spur is good here, but I almost would like to find a 1-drop with Schooner and like play Boots, play Schooner, play the 1-drop, have Schooner kind of as like a guardian there. Are you scrying? Especially because like Kite Sail is a little bit vulnerable to a map or a case. Land Soak is on. Interesting. Not using that to channel. be honest, I feel like our opponent kept a relative, it's hard to say a bad hand, but like we've all seen this stack operate before. Seems like the hand has been a little less than optimal, but they also seem to have everything that they would need. They just need to draw like that knight or Imadane's recruiter. Will they? I don't know. Nice. They scry and keep on top. Okay. Interesting. Sure, dog. Yes. All right. Now I'm baffled, to be honest. This has vigilance, so that's pretty sick. Let's attack here right away. Bonk. Less kite sail. Target here. And this already has ward 1, but do I want to give it ward 2? I guess they can still pay for it, but then they have to also play a threat. So I think this is a Lava Spur Boots angle and then an equipped angle. And the reason why is because giving this ward 2 means they have to play a creature and then case it, or it would counter that ability. But I can also play Ginger Brute and play the Schooner next turn. This Mirrex kind of hitting the land is going to be maybe what tempos me out here. If I get to attack with Sentinel, I'm going to put the map tokens on Kite Sail, and we're going to try to keep it as big as possible because we don't want that Warden to come back. Now, if they sacrifice that artifact for a mana, then obviously the entire game changes. Like that. But I am in danger because of that. I'm in danger because of that. They have 1 card plus that. I'm at 11 theoretically without getting touched because the creature will come in. Tough Cookie's really good here. Tough Cookie can also bring up a blocker. Very nice. I can play this, and then I can use its ability to make an artifact into a 4/4. I can also just play my entire hand out too. And that might just be better, because then I still end up with like 4 blockers here, but I'm a little bit more progressive in my game plan. Do I want to attack with Sentinel, or do I hold it for a blocker next turn? I think I hold it for a blocker, because I think the way we win is our opponent getting a little impatient and attacking here. We're kind of the control deck right now in this matchup, and we're trying to tempo lock them out in a weird way. They've already given up their Warden, so even if Kite Sail goes away, we're not upset about it. Knight. Sure. Resolve both of those. What do we got, opponent? Okay, I'm taking 3 more damage here. Sure. Very quickly went from the kind of aggro guy to the dead next turn guy. And the land draw is not going to do it, huh? I have no idea what I'm supposed to do here. Because they also get double buffed. I take 2, they attack. Is there even a world in which I can survive this turn? So, block. Let's just do math, like, simply. Block, 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 or block. Because obviously I can't just bring this up. I actually can bring both of these up with Tough Cookie. I mean, pass. I'm not doing the math. I can double bring up both these with Tough Cookie. Maybe I live, maybe I die. I probably dead, because I'm already at 6 here, because they play Epicure then play Imadane, and it pings me for a ton. This kind of has to block the flyer because I won't be able to answer it next turn. And then I basically have to sacrifice most of my board. And they're at 17. So again, kind of not being able to get that pressure in. I believe they were on the play. I could be wrong. Yeah, because I had a 2-drop. And I said, well, this could be a little tough. And they also played a land. You have another threat? Like, it's like impossible for me to win, big dog. Sure. It should be an all-out attack. Yeah. This one. This one. Sure. Let's see. Block. Block. I think I end up living, but at what cost? I have no idea. No, I don't even live here. Yeah. Either way. I'm dead. It is what it is. Because my hand was like just too slow. I mean, also on the draw, no pressure really. So this sucks, but it's what it is. Okay, well, for my mental, I personally had to stop playing this deck list. So I saw this. I don't want to say this is her list, because I didn't have a sideboard with it, but Ash Sizzle normally has been the advocate and the pilot of Simic cookies and has always performed pretty well for her. Now, the difference is she does play best of 3, whereas I'm kind of trying to look post-rotation and see what decks might be viable. So it's a little bit easier to do that in best of 1. If you're playing best of 3 and you're trying to play a post-rotation deck, you're going to find out that it's very hard to do because a lot of your sideboard cards that are good in matchups that they're required to be good in is not going to be there post-rotation. So I played this in best of 1, and I just, whether it's a pilot issue, which if you're not understanding what I mean by that, me, the player, the pilot of the deck, I might not have been playing it super well. I'm not really sure. I kind of felt most times that even at the beginning of the game, I always felt behind. Now, I was on the draw, I think, quite a bit against a lot of the aggro decks, so I found myself kind of having to defend a lot because they had very aggressive and dominant hands against me. But, I don't know. I think the last match I also kind of was tilted in a sense and just tried to trade things off instead of just playing around. Like, obviously they have something, but I don't know. A little weird in general. But outside of that, I just struggled to get the deck kind of going in a lot of matchups, and the only matchups I felt like pretty confident in was the one against Domain and the one that, like, I think I had Surge Engine hit 6 or 7 times and my opponent was still at 21 life. That As for Life Gain deck, I will tell you right now, that was just the arena gods telling me I was losing that game. I've never seen that deck in my entire life, and it just magically showed up against me in the deck that's like, I am going to get you down easily with a creature that you can't block, and they're like, I don't care, I'm going to gain all the life in the world. That was tough. But I mean, other than that, I mean, I love this deck. I think it's so fun. I'm struggling personally to win with it. So fun and winning kind of for me is in 2 different categories here, but again, could be a pilot issue. So our main threats here is like getting the Wormlet in, and normally you want this first because of the aggro, things like that. So having Wormlet come in and being that card you play on turn 1, and then turn 2 you play some artifacts and go about it that way is very, very nice. Other than that, like, Siren's kind of a follow-up to it, and then Lava Spurt Boots is pretty good, or use a hard-hitting question to remove a creature that we need to remove, things like that, or getting a Surge Engine in so you can start activating it at some point. But other than that, the other card that I think is very, very good in this deck is this card, Glyph, is actually incredibly good. I think this card is probably one of the most annoying outside of Schooner, because I do play a lot of artifact removal, like Go for the Throat, for example. If we put against Mono Black, by the way, today, I feel like this deck is super well hinged to beat that one, because we take 4 of their removal spells and just make them not good. And Cut Down a lot of times is also not good. It just happened to be good the one turn against us, which was interesting. Well, other than that, I'm not going to keep it too long. I think the games kind of explain themselves a little bit and how I feel, and I might not be looking at this super objectively. So I'm going to call it there, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.